Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and I am in downtown Marfa, Texas. Marfa is a very small town out in West Texas on Highway 90. However, it is a artist mecca, you might say, community. And there are several interesting things to see in this really small town. And first is the Marfa and Presidio County Museum. This is the building. I am here between Christmas and New Year's, and there's a sign on the door saying it's closed for the holidays. It won't open until after January 3rd. So unfortunately I can't go in and show you what's in there, but it's right on the main street in town, so when you're here, stop by and see it, and I think it's free to get in. They have this old wagon out front, so that's about all there is that you can see today. On the porch of the museum, they have this old bench, and they have an old telephone booth. How long has it been since you've seen one of these? It's made out of wood and glass. It's padlocked, so I can't make a phone call, which actually would be convenient because I don't get cell phone service in Marfa with Sprint. And next to that, they have an old Toledo scale. Oh, and it seems to be a working scale too. I don't know how accurate it is. I don't think it is at all. As I step on it, it's just kind of moving around. Right beside the museum is this old storage building. Wow. This thing hasn't been used in I don't know which century. So now I'm going to go and show you what they have at the Khazneh Foundation. About a half-mile south of Highway 90 on Highway 67, you will find these series of concrete blocks, and they are intended to be an art project. It's a real long stretch of these blocks. That somehow someone thought this would be a good art project. They are just simply concrete blocks, and this is a set of 3 of them set in triangle formation, and there's nothing particularly artistic about each one of them, but if you put a whole bunch of them arranged in a certain manner, somehow that makes it art. Here's another set of 3 with the backs facing each other, and inside of them is nothing, but somehow they seem to attract the attention of a lot of people. It's part of the Khazneh Foundation, which is an artist community, and that's what these buildings are for. There are more art displays inside there, and there are quite a few of these buildings here, all about making art. The small town of Marfa is known to be an artist community mecca. Those 2 big buildings have small blocks in them made of aluminum instead of concrete, but they do look similar to the big concrete blocks outside. The building opens at noon for self-guided tours, and they also give guided tours, although I don't know just what the guides could tell you about these aluminum blocks. I'm just looking through the outside windows now because the building is not open right now. But that's about all it is. A whole bunch of aluminum blocks. They're in different forms. Some have little shelves like that. Some are like this with one shelf in the middle. So if you're interested, you can go and find out when they're open. Both of these two main buildings are just full of nothing but these aluminum blocks. That's the main building. All these other buildings here is the remains of an old army barracks, and most of them have art projects in them and are occupied by artists, and some people live in some of these buildings who are with the Chinati Foundation. To get to the Chinati Foundation, you turn right when you see this sign, and the Khazneh Cove is a campground where you can stay in tents, or you can rent one of these colorful old trailers. They also have teepees and other large tent buildings that you can rent space in. They've got hammocks where you can lay in the sun, and they have annual music festivals held here too. The Chinati Foundation also has a museum building downtown, and what's in there is a bunch of vehicles that were just smashed together, just like you would crumble up a tin can. And they're very colorful. They're in this building. I went in and saw them, but they would not let me take any pictures. So that's a shame. But it would be worth coming downtown to see. This is downtown Marfa on a weekday. I guess I shouldn't go in here because it is the wrong store. It's got this big U out front with the light fixtures on it. Well, it's closed anyway right now, and it appears to be an art store. It's got some art things on the wall there and a bench, so maybe people come in here to make art. This is just one block off of Highway 90 in Marfa. This is the outside of the wrong store. And right next to it is a very interesting pink house. This is what brought my attention, whatever this thing is. This is what is behind the wrong store. Interesting. I'm about 41 miles east of Marfa on Highway 90, and there's not much here except the railroad track, a lot of desert land, some mountains in the distance, and the highway, and a Target store. It's a small store with a small parking lot. I thought I would stop by to pick up some supplies. So let's go in and see what they've got. Ooh, not much. You can get a gallon of water or some small bottles of water. Oh, and someone broke a bottle on this aisle. Well, I can pick up some apple juice, but it looks like that is about it. Somebody wrote a message on the wall there. And Jason hearts Tina, by the way. They do have some nice artwork here. The store is air conditioned, so that's nice. They got the big Target logo on this side. And on this side, I'm here on a Sunday, so there's nobody here to check me out. I guess nobody's working today. Nothing on the other side of the road either. Oh well. I'll come back again another day. Right now I'm in the parking lot of the Prada Store, known as Prada Marfa. But not only is it not open, it doesn't even have a handle on the door. It's actually 36 miles west of Marfa. Let's see what they have for sale. Some handbags and shoes. These are actual Prada handbags and shoes.
Even by themselves.
They have had trouble with vandalism, and soon after the store opened or was built, they had a break-in and someone stole everything. So they replaced them with more Prada merchandise. However, all of the handbags and shoes have the bottoms cut out. So if someone breaks in and picks them up, they can see that they cannot resell them. And they also installed a security system right there so they can see who's messing around with it. Here's a plaque that tells about it. The store does actually have electrical service, and it is lit up at night. Here's the electric equipment box. And behind the store is this fence, which is full of love locks. So if you come by here and you want to have something to leave your legacy, then bring a padlock and add it to the collection. There's plenty of room for them. The store is about 50 feet off of Highway 90, and it does get a lot of visitors. Somebody had a rough time in the mud here. Here's one of those realtor house devices. And this one. There are some really unusual locks here. Well, that's the end of my tour of the artsy-fartsy town of Marfa, Texas. Good day, folks.